Many people are familiar with the 12 tribes of Israel, but Judah happens to be one of the leading tribes, and the so-called African American or Negro from the Americas or from the tribe of Judah. And so that's what I'm representing, and being a representative for all the black people around the world as a reputation for Judah and the other 11 tribes of Israel. Now do your research. You can do your research and, you know what I'm saying, look it up and find out the truth for yourself. You know, I'm not going to sit up here and explain everything.
They say you Hebrew, you ain't Haitian. I'm Hebrew Israelite. I'm Hebrew Israelite. I'm Jewish and I'm Jewish. I'm a real Jew. Like, I ain't convert. I was born this. My bar mitzvah coming soon. And you invited.
And
we original man and woman anyway.
That part.
Yeah.
That part.
Yeah.
And when you do your real true research about the Hebrews and the Jews and the Israelites and all that, you find out that they look a lot like us sitting in this room right now.
Yeah.
And when you do your real true research about the Hebrews and the Jews and the Israelites and all that, you find out that they look a lot like us sitting in this room right now. So maybe somebody stole some of the Jewish religion. Anyway, let me shut up. I don't want to be like some people stole from the get-go, but
then you got all these facets of denominations and races coming together.
At the end of the day, everybody human, right?
Oh, yeah.
And if we go by the ideology of what America was based off of, it's supposed to be one nation under God.
Yeah,
and you're free to worship whoever you want, whatever God you choose. So I feel like personally, I know what I am. I'm stand for what I am. But I'm also
what are your questions about?
I'm
You're an Israelite, right? Copy that for the sisters.
I know what I am. And I'm a representative of what I am. But at the same time, I am in that nation.
Right.
I'm not in my indigenous nation.
Right, I understand. And you
I don't want to see nobody that look like me, because if you use my voice to do so, you must lose it. That's all you do.
Right. All right. So we appreciate y'all and we love y'all.
Definitely.
For 400 years, you had your knees on her neck, a garden of evil with no seeds of respect. In America's mirror, all she sees is regret. Instead of letting blood live, they begging for bloodlet.
The Bible has said 400 years it said people would be in a country that you would be strangers in for 400 years, and this is 401. 1619. 1619. That's when slavery started, 1619. So here we are in 2020, and all this going on. I happen to be like, I feel like this is ordained, what I mean? I think it's the fulfillment of a prophecy. And everybody's saying, yo, we're at war and we're unprepared. We're, we don't have the ammunition. We don't have the preparation. We don't have the strategy. We don't have the leadership. We don't have the, hey, bruh, God only gonna fight with one of us. God will only fight with one side of this shit. And if you fight with us, and guess what? That's all the we need.
Man, shalom, Israel. My name is Ratazan Sharyan, representation of Christ, and I'm saying that we have a very special guest here with us today. How you doing, my brother?
I'm good. How you doing?
Man, I'm good, man. It's a pleasure to have you here, man. We have Freeway Ricky Ross, the real deal. We ain't dealing with no phonies, right?
No doubt, no doubt.
And it's a pleasure to have you, man, and especially to actually sit down and dialogue with the Hebrew Israelites, because you done many interviews and things like that, man, and a lot of people try to talk to you, but just to sit down with the Hebrews is a big thing, because we actually represent for our people, and we out here on these streets daily, out here in the communities, trying to tell our people the truth about this system and this government.
Right.
And a lot of times we get a lot of flack on it because people don't want to hear this word, you know what I'm saying? People don't want to hear us speaking because they love this system, but we just want to shed some light on the system. And
one of the most shocking of the WikiLeaks cables comes from the American Embassy in Jerusalem. It's titled, Israel, Promised Land of Organized Crime. And it warns American law enforcement agencies about the severe threat of Jewish organized crime to America. Now, I learned about this from a Jewish publication, the Jewish Chronicle, which calls it, quote, a real WikiLeaks shocker. Well, Jews are allowed to know about this shocker, but just about the whole rest of the world doesn't have a clue about it. You won't learn about this on CNN, Fox News, or the BBC. Today, I will discuss the cable detailing extensive Jewish involvement in organized crime and tell you the history of organized crime that you don't learn about in the mainstream media. Today, you will learn the hidden truth about organized crime. The truth the media bosses hide from you. Of the thousands of diplomatic cables embarrassing to the United States, Britain, France, Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, Iran, Turkey, and other nations, a number of commentators have noted how few of the hacked diplomatic cables expose Israel and the Zionists. Considering the fact that the hacked cables span the period of the Israeli mass bombing, murder, and maiming of thousands of Palestinians, women, and children in Gaza, and the fact that they were from the same time period that included the Israeli forging of European and other passports in violation of international law, and the Zionist bloody assassination of Israelis' enemies in third countries, you might wonder why only a few WikiLeaks released cables deal with these major human rights crimes of Israel. Now, some have suggested that WikiLeaks founder, Julian Assange, is in cahoots with the Mossad. Maybe so. The verdict is not out on that yet, but here's what Assange himself said in a recent interview with Al Jazeera TV. Now remember that Assange is no critic of Israel. In fact, he strongly supported Israel in the past. Assange said that only a meager number of files related to Israel had been published so far because the newspapers that paid for exclusive rights to publish the secret documents didn't want to publish damaging information about Israel. I quote, "There are 3,700 files related to Israel, and the source of 2,700 files is Israel. In the next 6 months, we intend to publish more files depending on our sources. The Guardian, El Pais, and Le Monde have published only 2% of the files related to Israel due to the sensitive relations between Germany, France, and Israel." He goes on to say this very revealing statement, quote, "Even the New York Times could not publish more due to the sensitivities related to the Jewish community in the United States." Consider his words, quote, "Due to sensitivities related to the Jewish community, they held back thousands of documents on Israel." If you want to know who controls the world's press, here's proof of the real power in the media. The press can publish thousands of WikiLeaks cables that offend the United States, Britain, France, Turkey, Iran, but for God's sake, don't dare offend the Jewish state of Israel. No matter how sensational, no matter how damning these documents are about Israel, you're not allowed to know that most of them even exist. Now notice what was revealed. Documents such as Saudi Arabia supposedly giving the green light for an attack on Iran was on the front pages of the press. Of course, the international media has long had a powerful Jewish influence in both ownership and management of mass media. They showed the American people cables and supposedly build up the case for attacking Iran. But the Jewish-owned New York Times will not allow Americans to see cables from our own government called Israel Promised Land for Organized Crime, because Americans aren't even allowed to know about the real and present dangers to our country from Israel's gangsters. Now let's get to the heart of the cable. The cable came from the American Embassy in Jerusalem. The report is titled Israel Promised Land for Organized Crime, and it shows that Israel is the world center for many criminal syndicates, and it shows that there are still at least a few loyal American citizens that are left in our government. That's a bit surprising sometimes. Quote, "Organized crime has long-standing roots in Israel, but in recent years there has been a sharp increase in the reach and impact of organized crime networks. Organized crime in Israel now has global reach with direct impact inside the United States. Post is currently utilizing all available tools to deny Israeli organized crime figures access to the United States in order to prevent them from furthering their criminal activities on United States soil." The report goes on to show that organized crime reaches into the highest echelons of Israel's government. Quote, "Just last month, Israeli politicos and organized crime figures came together for the funeral of Likud party activist Shlomo Oz, who served time in prison in the 1990s for extortion on behalf of the Alperon family, a powerful organized crime family. Among those in attendance was Omri Sharon, son of former Prime Minister Ariel Sharon. You wouldn't know it from the Jewish Hollywood movies, but Jews have dominated organized crime all over Europe for hundreds of years before there was any Sicilian mafia at all. 99% of you watching this video have no idea that Jews, not Italians, led the most powerful and murderous crime syndicates. The fountainhead of organized crime in America for the entire 20th century was Murder Incorporated. It was an overwhelmingly Jewish organization, the fountainhead for organized crime in America for the rest of the 20th century. Murder Incorporated wasn't Italian, and it wasn't a mafia. It was as Jewish as gefilte fish and matzo balls. From this single organization came the biggest organized crime bosses in American history. The most powerful organized crime figure in America was not Al Capone. It was Meyer Lansky, one of the original leaders of Murder Incorporated. Law enforcement personnel agree